is Savardis. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Savardis in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Profs will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Mowbray moving in. Sends one on goal, he scores! And it is a power play goal!
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers. That's hit back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
Live from the Sonny Werblin Recreation Center on the campus of Rutgers University, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the 2024 Metropolitan Collegiate Swimming and Diving Conference Championship. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, and for the third straight year, I'm joined on the call for the Mets Championship by my broadcast partner, Nick Durst. Much of our audience returning from 2022 or 2023 will know our voices already, but for all of those tuning in for the first time, welcome to this exclusive PDF Sports Network coverage of the Mets Championship. And Nick, this year's championship sees several familiar teams returning, along with the introduction of some new programs to the Mets Championship. Let's meet the teams now.
Yeah, we want to welcome all of our new audience out there. A lot of new teams this year, so some familiar names and a lot of new teams as well. So let's run through all the teams here. First, D3 CUNYAC School, Baruch College Bearcats. And joining them from the CUNYAC and D3 level is the Brooklyn College Bulldogs. Now the next team up from D2 from the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference is the Felician University Golden Falcons. From D3 Commonwealth Coast Conference, it is the Fighting Scots, the Swimming Gordon College Fighting Scots. From D3 CUNYAC, it is the Hunter College Hawks. From the D3 North Atlantic Conference, it is the Husson University Eagles. From the D3 CUNYAC Conference, the Lehman College Lightning. From the D3 North Atlantic Conference, it is the Maine Maritime Academy Mariners. From the D3 Skyline Conference, it is the Mount St. Mary College Knights. From the D2 East Coast Conference, Roberts Wesleyan University Redhawks. From D3 Skyline Conference, Sarah Lawrence College Griffins. From the D3 North Atlantic Conference, the SUNY Delhi Broncos. And from the D3 Skyline, the SUNY Maritime College Privateers. So big mix here between D3 and D2 schools, mostly D3 though.
So earlier in the day, we had our preliminary heats, which included a B finals in both the 200-yard freestyle relay and the 400-yard medley relay. So just one final heat for those two events coming up next here tonight. The rest of the program this evening, we open with the 200-yard freestyle relay, followed by the 500 free, the 200 IM, the 50 free, and then we wrap up tonight with the 400-yard medley relay. But Nick, you and I have obviously been here at the Mets each of the last 2 years now, covering for the PDF Sports Network each of the last 2 seasons. But when we came last year, we had a second stream for the first time. That stream, of course, brought coverage of diving. On last year, it was day 3 and day 4 of the meet. This year, a 3-day meet sees diving take place on day 2 and day 3. However, for the first time here on PDF, we are introducing audio to our diving stream from over at the desk where the dives are announced. So we tested it earlier today, and our microphone wireless system does have the range to reach our sound system from the opposite end of the Sonny Werblin Rec Center. For the first time this year, we will have audio video from poolside for our diving coverage when that takes place beginning tomorrow. Of course, we have diving prelims beginning tomorrow at 10:30 alongside swimming prelims, which get underway just a bit before that at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so tomorrow, big day here as far as meets are concerned. But now we'll step aside here for the national anthem.
We are back here on the PDF Sports Network with Day 1 finals coverage from the 2024 Mets Swimming and Diving Championship. And Nick, I may have misspoken before. We are going to have 2 final heats coming up in the women's 200-yard freestyle relay, of course, followed by the men. We had 1 heat take place earlier in the day, but there will be 2 heats taking place here tonight. And those participants are being introduced right now. So we have Gordon, Mount St. Mary, and Baruch at the starting blocks right now. And Nick, for the first time, we do have the participants for each relay squad. We did not have that on our meet sheets last year. We do have it this year. However, it looks like the meet sheet we were given is missing some teams, as right now up on the board, they have times for 6 teams. Right now, just 3 teams in the pool.
But right now, swimming for Gordon is Isabella Gatos for the Iron Lane 3. So for Mount St. Mary College, we have Emily Gursky in the pool right now. And for the Bearcats in lane 5, it is Kristen Zapp. And now into the pool is Catherine Maloney in lane 3, Catherine Maseda in lane 4, and Sophia Kuchtaf in lane 5.
Okay, so the live chat, which is active or will be active throughout the weekend, help us with the pronunciations. If we make any mistakes, please be sure to let us know. A lot of student athletes participating in this weekend's championship. We do not have pronunciations for all of them. So, again, if we mispronounce a name, be sure to let us know in the live chat. It's inevitable, Nick. It happens from time to time, so we do our best.
MK Farkas in the lead right now for Gordon. Behind her in lane 4 is Grace McHugh, and then in third place right now for the Bearcats, Tercia Dobrinsky. Last swimmers in the pool now, Joe.
Gordon and Mount St. Mary going stroke for stroke here as we get set to enter the final 25 following this turn. We'll see if anyone gains an advantage off the wall. Looks like Mount St. Mary now with an edge of about 3/4 of a body length. That lead is growing.
Megan Worcester in the lead.
As the Knights head for the final touch, and they will take the B final in the women's 200-yard freestyle relay, followed by Gordon and Baruch.
Grace Hackenhisto in Gordon finished in second, and then Joyce Wong for the Bearcats.
A final coming up next, and we will have 7 of our 8 lanes occupied, and the question always comes up, Nick, do the lanes go from the top of the screen to the bottom or vice versa? Lane 1 is at the top of your screen. So if you're referring to our in-venue scoreboard at the top left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see lanes 1 through 8 with the participants listed. But we get the question all the time, lanes 1 through 8, going from the top of the screen down to the bottom of the screen.
All right, here's the lane assignments for this heat here. As in lane 1, we have Hudson University Eagles. Lane 2 is Sarah Lawrence College. Lane 3 is Brooklyn College. Lane 4 is Felician. Lane 5, Roberts Wesleyan. Lane 6 is Hunter. And lane 7 is the Maine Maritime Academy Mariners. And they're all coming to the pool now, so try to get you some names here for all of you at home tuning in to watch your friends and family here. So lane 1 to start things off is going to be Kayla Payson. Lane 2 is going to be Kalani Talma. Lane 3 is going to be Erin Forrest. Lane 4 is going to be Natalie Amano. Lane 5 will be Renee Roselier. And lane 6 is going to be Kara Chang. And lane 7 will be Natasha Kopek.
Those are the swimmers that will get things started for their respective relay squads. Once again, this is the A final, women's 200-yard freestyle relay. 7 of the 8 lanes occupied. In terms of our vantage point, a positive that lane 8 isn't occupied right now.
Always difficult to see lane 8, especially on the screen.
Very difficult. As our A final is underway. Right now it appears the early lead belongs to Felician, swimming out of lane 4. And that lead grows slightly off of the first turn. Golden Falcons, very familiar to us at the College of Staten Island, where Nick and I call games on CSI Sportsnet. The Dolphins face them quite a bit. And they have the lead through the first 50. That lead has grown to more than a body length. Right now, second place could belong to any one of about 4 or 5 relay squads, but it looks like Sarah Lawrence right now in second following that last turn.
Amelia Myers swimming great right now in the lead for Felician.
She certainly helped the Golden Falcons grow their lead during that last 50. That lead now
24-7-1 split there for her.
More than a body length lead for the Golden Falcons. Sarah Lawrence right now with a lead of about a stroke or 2, but that lead is dwindling fast as Hunter College begins to close in out of lane 6.
Juliana Krakka about to touch here, extending the lead for Felician. Big time swim for her, 25-13 split.
Right now, Felician with a sizable advantage swimming out of lane 4. That lead appears to be very safe, but in the race for second, Sarah Lawrence in lane 2, Hunter College in lane 6 going stroke for stroke toward the wall. Off of that last turn, it looks like Hunter has the slight advantage, but closing in now out of lane 5, Roberts Wesleyan making a late push. And it looks like the Redhawks may have a chance headed toward the touchpad, but I believe it was Hunter. It was, as Hunter College takes second. Taking third, Maine Maritime Academy. Taking fourth, Roberts Wesleyan. In fifth, Sarah Lawrence. Sixth is Hudson University, one of the newcomers to the meet this year. So from time to time, I'll have to refer to my key, and Baruch College comes in 7th out of the 7 participating teams.
Well, Joe, congratulations there to the winners, as Natalie Armano, Amelia Myers, Juliana Krakka, and Dee Higgs all swam great, and they totally dominated in that 138.65.
Felician built a sizable lead early, and they were able to grow that lead as they went.
Now, Joe, aren't you friends with the SID over there at that school?
Samantha Flecker, a former staffer at the
Shout out to
College
Samantha.
of Staten Island.
Write an article about that big win for her school right there.
More wins equals more writing. Very well acquainted with a post-meet wrap-up. I have one tonight. CSI Dolphins at the Northeast 10 Conference Championship. The Dolphins, of course, former participants in this very meet. It's how we got connected with the conference. And though the Dolphins have departed, Nick and I remain.
Former chair, Mike Akalitis. But coming up next is the heat here, the final heat for the men's 200-yard freestyle relay. And the Metro Champs record was Rowan in 2022, so we were here for that, Joe. But to go through some of the lanes here, the lane assignments, all 8 lanes, our first time we're seeing that here tonight. In lane 1 is going to be Gordon College. Lane 2 is going to be Roberts Wesleyan. Lane 3 is going to be Hudson University. Lane 4 is going to be Baruch. Lane 5 is going to be the Maine Maritime Academy. Lane 6 is going to be Lehman College. Lane 7 is going to be SUNY Maritime College. And in lane 8, it's Brooklyn College.
All right, thank you, Nick. Now, I do believe we have our seat times here as well. And you typically get an idea of that based on the positioning of each team's in their lanes, but 4 and 5 with the highest seed times, and then working your way outward toward the outer lanes, those seed times get longer.
Yeah, Bearcats' seed time was 1:24:30, so they're the favorites, obviously, in this one. And behind them was the Maine Maritime Academy, 1:28:20. So certainly the two favorites going into this.
And keep in mind, Nick, this is an A final. Only one final heat tonight in the men's 200-yard freestyle relay. The women had a pair of final heats taking place this evening.
Right into the pool right now. Lane 1, James Granoff. Lane 2, Miguel Alcana. Lane 3, Ryan Emerson. Lane 4, Daniel Basilkoff. Lane 5, Carson Trout. Lane 6, Ronald Sanchez. Lane 7, Rowan Hayes. And lane 8 is Michael Kravitz.
And through the first 50, it looks like Maine Maritime Academy reached the touchpad first. But off of that last entry into the pool, Baruch has surged ahead now, swimming out of lane 4. And the Bearcats building a lead here. That lead has grown to nearly a full body length. What a job there by Bennett Masksa.
20-56 split there. Great swim by him.
Tremendous job. And that Bearcats lead only growing as they send their third swimmer into the pool. That's Peter Gavroff. The Bearcat lead now about 2 body lengths, maybe more than that, perhaps as many as 3 body lengths.
21:09 there for the Bearcats. Lightning quick.
No other swimmer posting a split time under 22 seconds. The Bearcats about a second ahead of the pace on each lap. Their lead has only grown. It's a battle for second place out of lanes 3 and lane 5. Hudson University, Maine Maritime Academy headed for the touchpad, and it is Maine Maritime Academy. The Mariners take second place in the A final, followed closely by the Eagles of Hudson University. In 4th, Lehman. In 5th, Roberts Wesleyan. In 6th, Gordon College. In 7th, SUNY Maritime. And in 8th, Brooklyn College.
All right, Joe, that's going to lead us to our first break of the evening. 10-minute break, and then when we come back, we'll just run through the rest of the events coming up. We have the women's 500 freestyle, then men's 500 freestyle, the women's 200 individual medley, followed by the men's 200 individual medley, the women's 50 freestyle, the men's 50 freestyle, followed by a 20-minute break. And then we go to the finale for the evening, which would be the women's 400 medley relay and the men's 400 medley relay. So we'll be back at 5:53 with the rest of the action in the pool.
All right, so stay tuned right here on the PDF Sports Network, your home for the 2024 Mets Swimming and Diving Championship. 10-minute break, and then we're back with the rest of our Night 1 Finals program. So, Nick, the
Breaking news.
The break for you and I, a bit shorter than perhaps we expected by about 9.5 minutes, but as soon as Nick and I put our headsets down, it was announced over public address that Lane 4 was disqualified. That is the winner of the previous heat. The Baruch College Bearcats were disqualified. No word on what the reason for that was, but with that disqualification, it is Maine Maritime Academy that takes first in that last event, the A final in the men's 200 free relay. So for our viewers at home that were tuned into that last heat, a change in the winner once again. Maine Maritime Academy takes first place, and of course every other team then moves up one slot as well.
Yeah, so the big winners here is that it's Lehman now going to be on the podium in third place.
All right, so we wanted to pass that news along before we came back and wanted to get that information across as close to the conclusion of our previous relay as possible. So once again, Nick and I will step off headset. Our meet is scheduled to resume in about 6.5 minutes at 5:53 p.m. Rest of the program coming up when we come back. And we're back here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Durst on the call for this night one of the 2024 Mets Swimming and Diving Championship. The 200-yard freestyle relay finals have taken place, and as we mentioned, we did have a disqualification in our previous heat, so Maine Maritime Academy picks up the win in that A final on the men's side. Felician on the women's side picking up a win in that same event.
All right, let me get your everybody here who is participating right now in this. So in lane 1 from Hunter College is Christian Zhao. Lane 2 from Husson University is Isabella Cost. Lane 3 is from Mount St. Mary College, Steph Summer. Lane 4 from Husson University is Maggie Poulin. Lane 5 from the Mount St. Mary College, it is Rynan Mulkierans. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Lane 6 from Hunter, Molly Nettles. Lane 7 from Hunter is Sarah Actis. And lane 8 from Gordon is Lillian DeFeo.
All right, thank you, Nick. Once again, this is the women's 500-yard freestyle. This is a C final.
Everyone
have 3 heats.
Pacing themselves very well right now. It is a big swim. Most of the people bunched together, but toward the top right now is Maggie Poulin in lane 4, and she had a 35-39 split there.
Split times, always something to keep an eye on in these longer distance events. The 500 free, not as long as we'll go this weekend, but it is as long as we will go tonight.
1650 coming up Sunday.
So each of the last 2 years. 2 years ago, I believe I missed Saturday. This year, I will be missing Sunday, so you will be joined on the call Sunday.
I don't remember you missing anything 2 years ago.
I did. You and I both missed it. That's why.
Oh. So
Saturday was no good.
No broadcast then.
We were brought on at the last minute 2 years ago.
Right.
Last year, I was here each day, and then this year, Dave will take my place on Sunday.
Yeah, but you'll be living here all day tomorrow, and you were here all day today. So.
Yes. Much deserved, in my opinion.
Get some fresh air on Sunday when you're outdoors.
Some cold air at MetLife Stadium as the Rangers will take on the Islanders on Sunday. As you mentioned before, Nick, Maggie Poulin with the lead, swimming out of lane 4. That lead has grown to just shy of a body length.
Yeah, Poulin, 2:22.41 thus far, 37-13 split there. Still the fastest, but you could see slowing down a bit here. Right behind her, Steph Summer with the quickest time there, and Isabella Cost, 39, 59, 38, and 59 respectively.
So something else to keep in mind as well, we've mentioned some of the records during our first few heats of the night. We also have the NCAA cuts, the A and B standards, so that's something to keep an eye on throughout the weekend as well. For the women in the 500 free, at the Division III level, the A cut 4:49.75 and the B cut 5 minutes and 37/100ths of a second. And I know Nick has the record. He is digging through his paperwork to grab that right now. However, Nick, if you take a look at our meet sheets, I believe the record is right above
Yes, it usually is. I'm looking for my cut sheet here.
All right.
I got my about 50 pages of paper here.
A lot of
So
paperwork.
we're not really helping,
I'll share with you.
helping the trees this weekend.
Right here. We are going to reuse these paper sheets each day, so there's that. Now, we mention this every year, but the perspective for Nick and I is about 80% of the way from the starting blocks to the wall. So we are aligned with the flags near the end of the pool. That makes it very tough for us to see the cards signaling which lap each swimmer is on, especially toward the far end of the pool.
Yeah, I'm saying lap 13, lap 14. Looks like everybody's on 13 there.
A lot of 13 and 11s. But it is still Maggie Pullen with the lead, swimming out of lane 4. Something to keep an eye on in these final heats as well. You take a look at each swimmer's seed time, and of course you compare that to how they perform in the final heat. That's always something to watch. So we'll keep an eye on those times as we get closer to the conclusion of the C final in the women's 500 free.
Right now, status quo here with the lead. Looks like next closest, Steph Summer out of lane 3. Joe waving to his adoring fans right now, so he's a little quiet. A lot of people ask you questions while we're broadcasting.
Oftentimes the question is the perspective of the camera relative to where they're standing. Directing traffic. We actually have the barricades to our left. And last year, after the first night, I thought, you know what? I should probably put these up in the final row of seats. They'll be there tomorrow. Just in case.
Well, you'll be here bright and early, so
plenty of time.
Shouldn't be an issue to block things off. Final lap here.
Final 50 for Poulin. And now Summer as well. Right now, those two, the only two in the final 50. Joined by a couple of swimmers following that last touch, swimming out of lanes 5 and 6. Kerins and Nettles in those 2 lanes of Mount St. Mary and Husson. So Poulin will take first in the C final.
Domination there. 6:08.48. Nobody even close.
Steph Summer will take second. Not much of a race for second either. Cruising toward third is Rhiannon Mulkerins. And in fourth, Molly Nettles. Isabella Cost will finish in 5th. Looks like
Lillian DeFeo
will take 6th, and in lane 1, Kristen Zhao appears poised to take 7th, which will leave Sarah Actis in 8th. And that will do it for the C final in the women's 500 free. Now, Nick, it has been a year since I was here, but compared to last year, it's a bit quieter in the building on day 1. A bit quieter.
Yeah, I mean, some of these teams don't have as many participants as in years past. Some teams have as little as 7, as little as 3 swimmers, so that'll account for the crowd noise. Some of the bigger teams that were here the last 2 years no longer here, and they always brought some noise, brought some ruckus, and brought some bleached blonde hair. But now it's time for the B final, so I'll get you the lane assignments here. Lane 1, Roberts Wesley and Juliana French. Lane 2, from Gordon, it's Grace Haxanisto. Lane 3, from Hunter, it is Sophia Kuchaf. Lane 4, from Hunter, lane 3 was not Hunter University, it was Baruch. Lane 4 from Hunter is Parvin Makandavivia. Lane 5 from Brooklyn College is Aaron Forrest. Lane 6 is Kylie Canton, and lane 7 is Eva Schultz. Both of them are from Maine Maritime Academy. And lane 8, it is Haley Welsh from Roberts Wesleyan. And the favorite in this one is from Hunter in lane 4, Parvin Makamdalivia, who had a 5:52.68 time in the prelims, in the heats.
Nick, I do not envy you. I took a look up at the board earlier. There are some tough pronunciations this weekend.
I'm pretty confident. I did a pretty decent on Parvin's last name there.
Yeah, that is tough.
Again, we don't have any pronunciation guys.
I would say Makhmadaliva. That's what I would say.
Makhmadaliva.
Makhmadaliva. That's what I would say.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
With her seed time, we might have to call her name once more. Should she take first place or finish near the top? In this B final of the women's 500-yard freestyle. Right now, it's stroke for stroke out of lanes 3, 4, and 5. I always have to try and lean over our barricade and see lane 8 just to make sure that I'm not missing a swimmer near the top. But as I've mentioned many times, a lot of spectators standing poolside obstructing our view of lane 8. We do our best to always follow lane 8. As we know, family and friends watching, oftentimes tracking a specific swimmer. Don't want to miss anybody. It remains stroke for stroke, currently out of lanes 4 and 5. Makhmadaliva and Forrest swimming in those 2 lanes, representing Hassan and Baruch. Or check that, Hunter and Baruch. So I have to take a look back at our key. So Hassan is HU, Hunter is HC. So I may have misspoke earlier, saying Hassan instead of Hunter. If I'm not mistaken, in the past, Hunter was HC for Hunter College, but with the introduction of Hassan, there may have been a change there. Or I could be completely wrong.
It would make sense for Hunter College to be
either way,
HC, which it is.
Hassan HU, Hunter HC, if you're referring to the key at the top left-hand corner of your screen. So keep that in mind the rest of the weekend.
Well, right now, HC, Hunter College, leading the way. 35-89 split time for Parvin there on that last 25.
The leader remains Makhmadaliva, swimming out of lane 4. Very close race for second right now as 3 swimmers reach the touch pad at the exact same time. Out of lanes 3, 5, and 6. Kuchtaff, Forrest, Cantlin, all reaching the touch pad together. And right now it appears that Forrest and Cantlin have gained an advantage over Kuchtaff during that last 25. Both of them still chasing Makhmadaliva.
Makhmadaliva is leaving the competition behind right now. Looks like a 4-stroke lead here as she has a 35-78 split right there. 401.82 overall into this for her.
Off the touch pad, a lead of about 2 body lengths in lane 4. Still plenty of time remaining in this 500 free B final. For any of, it looks like right now, 3 swimmers to close the gap. Same 4 right now vying for that top spot, with Makhmadaliva possessing a sizable lead. It appears as well that Erin Forrest has asserted herself into second place. She leads by about a stroke or 2 and is closing fast. So we might have a close finish in this B final. We haven't had a close finish like that yet.
We'll see if Erin Forrest is able to turn on the jets here and track down the lead. But she's getting chased, looks like, by Kylie Cantlin in lane 6.
Makhmadaliva, Forrest, Cantlin, 1, 2, and 3 entering the final 50. And it looks like Makhmadaliva is going to hold on. It's going to be a race for second. heading toward the wall. It's a lead of about a body length in lane 4. And I think that's going to be too much to make up in this final 25. Big final turn out of lanes 5 and 6. It's a race for second. And it looks like Forrest will hold on. As once again, very clear cut, 1, 2, and 3 in this B final of the women's 500 free. Looks like fourth is going to be pretty clear cut as well. In lane 3, Sophia Kuchtaf takes fourth. Out of lane 8, Haley Welsh takes fifth. Taking sixth is Eva Schultz. Out of lane 7, in lane 2, Grace Haxanasto takes 7th. And in lane 1, Juliana French takes 8th. And the music begins to play, Nick. You know what that means. It's time for an A final, as our finalists will be introduced ahead of this women's 500-yard freestyle A final, and all 8 lanes will be occupied.
All right, so let's go through the list here, and we will start in lane 1 from Sarah Lawrence College. It's Genevia. I'm not sure if that whole thing is... Genevieve. I thought something was cut off there at the end. You kind of hit the character letter. But Genevieve Chiappetta then. Apologies there, Genevieve and her family. Lane 2 from Gordon, Catherine Maloney. Lane 3 from Felician, Katinka Umels. Lane 4 from Felician as well, Salma Nuno Gallon. Lane 5 from Mount St. Mary College is Megan Worcester. Lane 6 from Felician is Tiana Lukic. Lane 7 from Husson University is Kayla Payson. And lane 8, it is Grace McHugh from Mount St. Mary College. And in this meet, in this particular event, the record time is 4:50:06, set in 2012. And that number looks like it's going to be very, very safe here, as everyone's about 45 seconds off from their original heat time. But looking like the favorites in this going to be, as usual, lanes 3, 4, and 5. And the heat time was from Felician University, Salma Nuno Gallon, 5:27:84. Behind her, Megan Worcester in lane 6, 5:28:05. And Katinka Umels in lane 3, 5:28:18.
All right, thank you, Nick. As the introduction of the finalists still continuing over public address, but as you get to the A finals in each particular event, both on the men's and women's side, we start to recognize some names from years past. And I would say there are at least 2 or 3 that I recognize from past seasons, one of them being Genevieve Chiappetta. Four-time Metropolitan Conference finalist as part of the Bioform submitted to public address.
She's a senior, so this
Makes
will be her
sense.
last meet in the Mets.
Swimmers were positioned on the starting blocks, and they will take a step down for just a moment.
False start.
Looks like we have an equipment malfunction.
Well, last year, I remember, Joe, we had a touchpad issue, which caused a lot of havoc in a few races.
I cannot stand touchpad issues, especially if I'm working a particular meet. Nothing derails.
Now, when you, as your day job, as a working in a college in a sports information department, when a touchpad goes wrong, does everybody look at you to fix it?
No.
That's good.
They know better. I'm the public address guy. I go there, lend my voice, go home. A final, women's 500-yard freestyle. First to the wall, Katinka Umels swimming out of lane 3. Now, I was certain I recognized Katinka's name. Perhaps she's a dual sport athlete.
Seems like a new name to me for swimming.
For swimming, yes, has to be, at least at this meet. Felician has not participated in either of the previous 2 championships we've covered.
Perhaps a soccer or softball player? I don't believe basketball.
I certainly recognize the name, 100%.
Sounds like a potential soccer name.
Quick Google search will do the trick.
We should have got the SID from her school over here and joined us in the broadcast because there's like 2 or 3 participants from Felicia in every single heat.
They have a lot more sports than we do over there.
Big time D2 school.
We were very fortunate to have this weekend open. It just seemed as if it was meant to be. No events over on Staten Island for us to cover on Sportsnet. And an open weekend, of course, in the realm of PDF as well. So it worked out for us in the best way possible this weekend. A pair of Golden Falcons right now leading the field, swimming out of lanes 3 and 4. Hummels and Nuno Galan.
Best split time there was Nuno Galan, 31.81.
And it looks like she has overtaken her teammate following that last turn. That duo with a body length lead over their next 2 closest competitors, swimming out of lanes 5 and 6. Worcester and Lukic. Lukic, another Golden Falcon. Now, Felician, one of, I believe, 2 Division II programs, if I have my count correct. Of course, the other Roberts Wesley, and we're very familiar with them as they are a part of the East Coast Conference, the same conference as the College of Staten Island. Red Hawks will visit for a basketball game coming up in the middle of next week.
Wednesday night.
Nick and I will be on the call for the men's game. Nick, you'll have the women's game solo. I've been called upon for stats.
Right now, it's all Felicia at the top, 1-2. And Megan Worcester trying to track down the Felicia combo in 3rd place.
The lead has only grown in lane 4 for Nuno Galan. Remaining in 2nd is Hummels, but closing in quickly is Megan Worcester swimming out of lane 5.
Looks like it's going to be a battle for 2nd, but we're still about probably 2.5 minutes away from this race concluding.
Every once in a while in a longer race, you will see a swimmer build a sizable lead early, and that lead will shrink as the split times drop just a bit. The difference in approach from swimmer to swimmer can see some look to start a bit stronger and push the pace early, but that doesn't appear to be happening here as the lead has grown for Nuno Galan. Meanwhile, in lanes 3 and 5, the race for 2nd has gotten a bit closer following that last touch. Worcester about a stroke or 2 behind Hummels.
Yeah, Worcester had a much better split there, 33-39. Hummels 33-95, so Worcester looks like she might be poised to track down Hummels, but still a lot of race left.
Off of that last turn, the lead for Hummels looks to be down to about a stroke. Nuno Galan still with a sizable advantage, and she is certainly the swimmer to beat. As the race for 2nd continues to intensify, the duo in lanes 3 and 5, Hummels and Worcester now stroke for stroke.
Worcester getting faster, 30-34 there, but Hummels got faster too, 34.09. As these competitors pick up the pace here, Worcester has overtaken 2nd place on that turn.
Following that last underwater, Worcester now with a lead of a stroke or 2. That lead growing toward a body length. And almost got off to a great start. But as Worcester has seen her splits decrease, almost has seen her splits increasing during the last 25 and 50.
Absolutely. And the winner of this, it's pretty clear as she comes towards the end here. Nuno Galan. Felician's going to lock up the first spot. We'll see if they get the 2nd or the 3rd here, but right now it looks like Megan Worcester is going to take 2nd.
Worcester poised to take 2nd as Nuno Galan takes 1st. Split time of 32:27 in that final 50. A split of 32 for Worcester, and Hummels posting one of her best splits of the entire race, sub 32 in that final 50, but it was not enough to catch up to Worcester, who overtook her on the 2nd to last turn. 4th, Lukic. In 5th, Maloney. In 6th, Payson. In 7th, Chiappetta. And in 8th, McHugh.
Well, good job by those competitors. Congratulations to the winners in all 3 heats there. Now we head over to the men's side of things. Only 2 competitors in this heat, Joe. Ryan Colombo is going to be swimming out of lane 4, and he attends SUNY Maritime College. Any idea why their abbreviation is NYMC, Joe? Very confusing. And then Duncan Huey is going to be swimming for the Baruch College Bearcats out of lane 5.
So SUNY is State University of New York, of course. And I'm guessing that rather than SMC, which very familiar to us, St. Michael's College, perhaps there are other schools in the region that use that abbreviation. So rather than go with SUNY as the abbreviation, you go New York Maritime College.
No one's going to understand this except you and I, or people that are in here look at the program meet, but the abbreviation for Baruch is Bearcats?
Is it? I'm not sure if it's like that up on the board. BAR.
Right. And BAR up here is accustomed to, but on our meet sheets, it just says Bearcats.
Makes our job easier. Not often you see a heat with only 2 participants in an individual event.
Yeah, a lot of pride on the line here.
All eyes on Colombo and Huey.
And this is the true saying, Joe. If you're not first, you're last in this one.
That certainly holds true when you're competing against one other swimmer.
Yeah, these 2 guys, look for them to finish this in around 6 minutes, 10 seconds or so. Colombo favored in this one, 6:07.13 in his prelim. Huey, 6:33.81. Last year, Joe, we were here, we saw one school at the end of the meet swim against nobody to just try to set some time. So that was interesting.
In that particular event, I actually watched it earlier today. I had a lot of time to kill between the prelims and the finals, so I went back and watched day 4 of the finals last year. And it was the University of Mary Washington. I believe it was the 400-yard medley relay they were swimming, and they were looking to achieve an NCAA cut, and they did so. We weren't sure exactly what the purpose of that relay was until we took a look at those cut times and realized that they had come in beneath the required time. So we congratulated them, and that was the final swim of our stream last year.
Yeah, what a way to end it.
They also won the meet. That doesn't hurt.
And into the pool they went. Not sure exactly who's going to be the favorite here, Joe, in this competition this year. So you haven't got to tune in and wait and see Sunday, just like all of us in here.
And I think that's a part of what makes this year's meet intriguing. We haven't seen any of these teams before. After year 1 and then seeing again in year 2 the standings shake out in a very similar order, we got a very good idea of what to expect going into year 2, especially after we saw those standings playing out similarly to what we saw in year 1. But now, a lot of those teams near the top not competing this weekend. So we don't know what to expect.
I would say the favorites on the women's side, just due to the sheer number of participants they have in all the upcoming and the past 3rd heats, has to be Felician.
Felician, one of 2 Division II programs, the other Roberts Wesleyan, as I mentioned before.
Felician with a lot of swimmers here over the next 3 days.
I have a feeling we'll get very accustomed to seeing them in the finals. However, Felician only has a women's swimming team, so we won't see any Felician swimmers in the men's finals. And you would think that they slide in that position that we'd expect to see the University of Mary Washington in, near the top, based on what we've seen in terms of seeding so far.
It looks like on the men's side, maybe keep an eye on Hudson University, as they have 12 swimmers. And looking at some other people with other swimmers on the men's side, Maine Maritime Academy, the most male swimmers, 21.
Those 2 teams, pair of newcomers to the meet this year. Quite a few of those. Felician, one that we've already mentioned. Gordon College, another. Husson University, Maine Maritime Academy, and SUNY Delhi. All newcomers to this year's Mets championship. So with each team that departed, they added at least one. Though I think they added more than they lost.
13 teams competing here.
If they didn't add more than they lost, they replaced every team that they lost. Right now, both swimmers in about the final 200 or so, on average. It looks like, from my vantage point, one swimmer on lap 15, the other on lap 17. And that is indeed the case. With the lead right now is Ryan Colombo swimming out of lane 4. Duncan Huey about 50 yards off the pace. Maybe a bit less, closer to 25 off the pace.
Figure another minute and a half here in this heat. Has to be tough mentally to swim against just one person.
Especially if you see the gap growing. I think the temptation then arises perhaps to push a bit more, though. I've never been in the pool swimming myself, so I can't speak to it. But from my perspective up here, I would think it certainly weighs on you a bit if you see that gap growing between you and one other swimmer.
Certainly would appear to be the case.
Final 25 for Colombo, final 50 for Huey, as they reach the touch pad and the wall at the same time. Colombo looking to perhaps come in under 6 minutes, will fall just a bit short of that mark.
Yeah, well, congrats to Colombo, who won the heat. 6:01.26.
Take a look at where that stacks up to his prelim time. About a 6-second improvement, and you'll see that quite often. As Huey will also improve on his prelim time by about 9 seconds. So job well done by both swimmers. All eyes were on them for the last 6.5 minutes. Both improve upon their prelim times.
All right, moving on to Heat 2 now. All 8 lanes will be filled in Lane 1. It is Roberts Wesleyan's Logan Childers in Lane 2. It is Maine Maritime Academy's Joshua Bin, I believe, not Bean. In Lane 3 from the Mount St. Mary College, it is Tyler Williams. Lane 4, Roberts Wesleyan, Ronald Pasica. Lane 5 from Baruch College, it is Luca Shapiro. Lane 6 from Houston College, it is Hunter Jackson. In Lane 7 from Sarah Lawrence College, Patrick Rao. And in Lane 8 from Gordon College, Stephen Mayo.
Once again, this is the B final in the men's 500-yard freestyle. After our 500 free, we have 3 more events on the program. 200 IM, 50 free, 400 medley relay. Still much more to come tonight.
Winner in this, I'm going to say, clocks in around 5 minutes and 16 seconds.
If you recall back to last year, though you weren't here, Nick, I do recall calling that night solo. The program has gotten a bit longer for night 1 than it was last year. The stream for last year.
I thought I was here. I think I was here last year.
You were here for night 1?
Me, you, and Pat.
I don't believe you
drove
were.
us. It was raining.
You covered the last 3 days, correct? Because it was a 4-day meet.
Yeah.
It was a 4-day meet.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes.
Yeah, I was here solo on Thursday
night. So this is just
night.
a 3-day meet this year.
It's a 3-day meet this year.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. And that Thursday night was like 1 or 2 races, right?
It was very short. The stream was about 46 minutes in total. I think we've already reached that mark tonight. Even with the extra half hour to make sure all of our equipment functions properly. We introduced a new setup last year, as opposed to our setup the previous year. We had picture-in-picture for each day of the meet. That remains, of course. And we're trying to step up our game again this year by bringing in audio from the diving area.
So how did you run the audio over there from the diving area?
Very simple.
Wireless?
Wireless transmitter with a microphone attached, wireless receiver into our mixer.
And you put it far enough back where it's not going to get wet?
The person announcing the dives is tucked in the corner there, nowhere near the water. And it's a very small device. You can clip it on to your shirt, and you're good to go. So,
what's the battery lifespan?
Long enough that we'll be okay.
All right.
We do have a charger they can plug in as well, but I'm not concerned.
Well, looks like some divers warming up at this point.
Divers have been in here all day, and I noticed, and I thought it was interesting because I'd never seen it before, in the corner of the Sunny Warbling Rec Center on both sides of the diving boards, they have televisions that display video from the diving boards on a delay. That way a diver can exit the pool and watch their dive.
It's pretty good, but they should be having the PDF live stream on those TVs.
You could theoretically do a delayed live stream from there.
Well, I think we're probably about 10-15 second delay from live time into what's going out on the airwaves. But that's probably not enough to get them out. I wonder where their camera is. They must have a Pixel camera or something up at top.
The cameras are alongside the board, so they have to be on the wall opposite us and alongside us, based on the camera angles you can see on the wall. Now, I did calculate it earlier today. We were about, I'd say, 20 or 30 seconds behind. So, again, I was playing the stream from a computer wired into the facility's Ethernet port, but I was about 20 or 30 seconds behind.
To the action here, we are about halfway through, a little more than halfway through, I would say.
We might have a close race, specifically out of lanes 3, 4, and 5. See if it plays out that way, but with the lead out of lane 4, Ronald Pasica. Trailing him, Luca Shapiro, and then Tyler Williams in third. They're the clear-cut 1, 2, 3 right now.
Yeah, Pasica, he's in the lead right now. Shapiro trying to chase him down. We'll get you Pasica's split time here momentarily as he's about to touch as they'll head into the end of the race here. Pasica 33.05, and behind him is Shapiro 33.45. Looks like Pasica's going to hold on to win this one. And it looks like there's going to be no question that Lucas Shapiro will get second. Third place looks like it's going to be Tyler Williams.
Sure does appear that way, as once again, it's going to be very clear-cut, 1, 2, 3.
Not too many close races so far tonight.
And I would say as well that the final standings have stayed relatively true to the seed times.
Yeah, not too many upsets. I think we had, the only thing was in one of the last races for the women's, lane 3 came in 4th, which was the only upset, really.
Pasica 1, Williams 2, Shapiro 3, Jackson 4. I think you had it right initially, Nick. For a last name, I would say Bean for a last name. But that's an assumption on my part.
Yeah,
we'll go with Bean 5th.
Bean, Bin,
Rouse 6th.
Been there, done that.
Childers 7th, and it will be Mayo taking 8th out of lane 8. Which will send us to the A final. Why don't we get a head start on introductions?
Time to hear some music, so we'll get a head start here for this A final for the men's, which is about to jump off momentarily here as they clear the pool and the Swimmers Cup with some music, but we will give you the 8 swimmers right now. So in lane 1 from Hudson University, it is Nathan Gilliam. In lane 2 from Baruch College, it is Leonardo Valdivia. In lane 3 from Maine Maritime Academy, James Cregan. Lane 4 from Hudson University, Alex Walsh. Lane 5 from Maine Maritime Academy, John Markilli. Lane 6 from Roberts Wesleyan, it's Roden Baldwin. Lane 7 from Gordon College, it is John Sullivan. And in lane 8 from Baruch College, Gregory Tarantayev. And Alex Walsh, he had the best prelim time at 4:56.25. Behind him was John Markilly, 5:06.80. And right behind him was James Cregan at 5:07.65.
We're still awaiting our first record watch of the night. Based upon seed times, the record appears pretty safe. The record 4:25.10 set in 2017. So
there's a good chance, Joe, that a lot of these records might stand the test of time for a long time with the different schools here in the Mets.
We did see a record in our next event back in 2022 as Kinsey Brooks set the record in the women's 200-yard IM. That's getting a bit ahead of where we stand right now, but looking ahead one event, Brooks with the record in that event. A lot of Golden Falcons in that final for the women's 200 IM coming up next, but we'll get you the NCAA cut times, and the cut times for Division III very similar to the record in this event at the Mets. So the A cut for the men's 500-yard freestyle in Division III is 4:22.06. The B cut 4:31.63. Once again, those the men's A and B cuts for NCAA Division III.
Yeah, so after this, obviously, we the men's and after this will be the women's 200-yard individual medley, followed by the men's, and then our favorite event, Joe, the 500-yard freestyle.
With a 50-yard freestyle.
550.
Big difference.
Yeah.
I might be able to swim a 50.
500 we just passed.
I can't swim a 500. I might be able to swim a 50.
This is it. This is the last 500 now.
Yes. The Division II NCAA A and B cuts, which apply in this event only to Roberts Wesleyan. A cut 500 free for the men, 4:21.76. And the B standard 4:34.84. So again, those times very similar to the record. In fact, the record right in the middle of both of those times. So something to keep in mind moving forward. Alex Walsh of Husson University swimming out of lane 4 with the lead. Right behind him, John Markilly of Maine Maritime Academy. And we've said
they were close right there. Alex Walsh, 27.76. John, 27.79.
We've said Husson quite a bit early. We've said Maine Maritime quite a bit early. Perhaps a rivalry reminiscent of what we saw last year between the Battle of the Blondes.
Could be. Could be.
We'll see. Both Walsh and Markilly to the touchpad at the exact same moment. They were 2/100ths of a second apart on that last touch.
Looks like John Markilly, off his underturn, going to take a slight lead.
His lead now about a stroke or two, growing toward a body length. That lead remains steady off of that last touch. Markilly heading toward the wall with a lead of about a body length. We'll see if that grows or perhaps diminishes off that last turn, as it looks like Walsh did not concede any ground off the turn. However, following the turn, Markilly's lead continues to grow.
Yeah, Markilly, like I said, 5:06.80 in his prelim time. He's on a good pace right now to break that by about 10 seconds. And we'll see if he's able to keep this pace or if Alex Walsh is able to catch up to him. Like you said a few swims ago, that we oftentimes do see a swimmer break out maybe a little too early in these longer events.
Markilly was sub-30 on that last split. And And he clocks in at 30.03 there. Walsh up above 31 at 31.31. So Markilly definitely gained some ground during that previous 50 and heads toward the wall with a lead of about 2 body lengths.
James Cregan very comfortably in third right now. Don't think he's going to catch up for second. Do not think he's going to be caught by Baldwin in lane 6.
Once again, Nick, it appears to be shaping up for a very clear-cut 1-2-3. See if it plays out that way, but Markilly currently 1, Walsh 2, Cregan 3, and the split's fairly consistent. Markilly between 30 and 31, Walsh between 31 and 32. The lead from Markilly has grown much larger. Meanwhile, it looks like Cregan might be closing in on Walsh out of lane 3.
Cregan swimming hard right now. And 31.63 was his last split. Walsh was 31.85. So right now, Cregan is moving a little quicker than Walsh.
Cregan certainly closing in as Walsh heads for the wall. Following this next touch, final 50. Markilly to the touchpad first. Unsurprisingly, Cregan closing in on Walsh. Walsh does reach the touchpad first by about 0.7 of a second. His lead over Cregan continues to shrink.
Looks like Cregan is primed to pass him here on the last go-round.
Walsh needs a strong turn in underwater, and he's got it.
He's got it.
His lead growing again as Walsh turns it on for the final 25. He is going to outlast Cregan, who is within less than a stroke. Heading toward the wall, but a strong final turn in underwater for Alex Walsh as he secures second. Cregan takes third. And how about that split in the final 50, Nick?
Yeah, 28.60 there for Walsh. He ends up in second, 4:58.74, which is a little slower in his prelim time. But how about John Markilly? 13 seconds quicker than his prelim time, 4:53.53. Congrats to John Markilly. Killing it there in that heat.
Certainly did. Took the win by about 5 seconds. That's a nice, comfortable margin. And he really could have turned it on into cruise control at the end there. He had a nice, sizable lead entering the final 50. With that, women's 200-yard individual medley. C final.
All right, Sarah Lawrence College in lane 3, Sonia Armitage. Lane 4 from SUNY Delhi is Veronica Coe. Lane 5 from Maine Maritime Academy is Meadow Hughes. Lane 6 is Linda Kelly from Sarah Lawrence College. So the record for this particular event at the Mets is 2:01.49, set 2022 by the legendary Kinsey J. Brooks. And it looks like the swimmers are getting set to take off here. So we'll see what happens here. The favorite in this one is Veronica Coe.
Now, Nick, I have to be honest with you. I made the same mistake you did. When I saw Delhi, I initially wanted to read it Delhi. There is a city in Indiana pronounced Delhi with the same spelling. So
I'm always thinking about India.
That's a good point. It is a good point.
So that's why I say that. But Delhi it is.
Well,
Delhi it is.
It's not Delhi this weekend. So it looks like right now they might be rearranging the swimmers. Unless we're missing a swimmer.
They're calling on Veronica from well, she was actually had the best prelim time, Veronica Coe.
Of the C finalists.
Right.
And it looks like they're just going to move on.
Yes, so much for SUNY Delhi there.
All right. It's going to be a 3-swimmer race in the C final.
All right, so lanes 3, 5, and 6.
Armitage, Hugh, Kelly, as they remove Poe's name from the scoreboard. Once again, 200-yard individual medley.
This should take around 2 minutes and 50 seconds for the victor, basing off the prelims times, where right now the new favorite is Meadow Hughes, who had a 2:57.25 prelim time.
Butterfly, followed by backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle in this individual medley. Heading toward the wall, Meadow Hughes with the lead. Lead of about a body length.
Meadow getting a lot of support. As she will have a 42.93 split time.
What makes the medley interesting is that in all cases, a swimmer is going to be stronger on a particular stroke.
Right.
So the field shifts every 50 yards or so, or I should say every 50 yards on the money.
Yeah, it looks like
in the 200.
In this particular, looks like Sonia Armitage is now taking the lead here on the breaststroke.
I think it's fair to say she's strong on the breaststroke.
Yep, looks like it.
Because the lead for Hughes was about a body length, and that lead is gone and then some. We'll see what the final 50 brings. Looks like Armitage and Hughes arrive at the touchpad about 2.5 to 3 seconds apart. As it will be freestyle the rest of the way, and the lead for Armitage out of lane 3 continues to grow larger.
Armitage smelling victory.
Once again, Nick, it looks like we're going to have a clear cut 1, 2, and 3. Armitage, Hughes, Kelly in the C final of the women's 200-yard individual medley. Each of our next 2 heats will see all 8 lanes occupied.
Or so we think. Maybe another late scratch.
Always a possibility, though I'm not sure I've seen that before. We've seen post-heat disqualifications, but never a scratch.
Well, we just saw it in this particular heat, as Veronica Coe was scratched. Congratulations to Sonia Armitage, who came in first place there. Meadow Hughes in second, and Linda Kelly in third.
Just seems like this building needs a very close finish and a final heat to get the electricity flowing. Though again, night 1 won't see as many spectators as we'll see on nights 2 and 3. We expect a raucous atmosphere tomorrow.
Well, they're off now into the pool for the B finals. So in lane 1 from Roberts Wesleyan University, Daniela Rodriguez. Lane 2 from Gordon, it's Gina Olay. Lane 3 from Baruch, it is Joyce Wong. Lane 4 from Brooklyn College, Anastasia Kutsov. Lane 5 from Houston University, Aaron Madden. Lane 6 from the SUNY Maritime College, Mary Sorelli. Lane 7 from Maine Maritime Academy is Sage Detremont. And in lane 8 for Roberts Wesleyan is Leanne Dolph. The favorite in this one is Anastasia Kutsov, who had a 2:28.02 prelim time.
In this particular heat, keep your eyes on lanes 3 through 6, who all finished fairly close in the prelims when the differential in those times is within 4 or 5 seconds for 4 or 5 swimmers. Could make for a close finish. Nearly the entire field has entered the breaststroke, as the final touch comes from lane 8. Close race right now in lanes 3 and 4. Wong and Kutasov. Looks like Kutasov with a narrow lead. That lead about a stroke, maybe 2. See how closely these touches come.
Kutsov 43.08, Wong 42.30.
So about a 1.3 second differential. Final 50 freestyle. First to the wall, Kutuzov, and she appears comfortably ahead. And once again, it looks like a pretty clear cut 1, 2, 3, unless Erin Madden has something to say about it out of lane 5. She's closing in on Wong in lane 3. As Kutuzov takes first, we're going to have a close finish out of lanes 3 and 5, and it looks like Madden overtakes Wong in the final 25 to secure second in the B final of the women's 200-yard individual medley. Wong takes third. Mary Sorelli takes fourth. Gina Olette takes fifth. Sage Dentremont takes sixth. Daniela Rodriguez seventh. And Leanne Dolph eighth.
Yeah, Erin Madden there, 34-63 split there to take second place. But now it's time for the A final, as you hear the music blaring. So we'll go through everybody here that's going to be in this competition. And we will start it off in lane 1 from the Maine Maritime Academy. It's Claire McDonald. Lane 2 from Roberts Wesleyan University, it's Renee Rosalier. From lane 3, it is from Hunter College, Kiana Gorino. Lane 5 from Felician University, it is Juliana Kraka. She just swam, so we'll see if there's any fatigue there. Lane 5 from Huston University, Rachel Hand. Lane 6 from Felician University, it is Christine Fabo Mbite. And from lane 7, also for her school, joining her teammate, Stephanie Schneider. And in lane 8, from Mount St. Mary College, it is Catherine Macedia.
Once again, 3 Golden Falcons in this A final. Introductions continue with lane 7 here, as we're about set to get started. Taking a look at the record, Kinsey Brooks, as we mentioned before, 2:01.49 2 years ago. That appeers safe.
Yep.
9 seconds may not seem like much, but in a 2-minute race, that is a big, big margin.
It's a whole lot of time. That's 3 pinfalls in wrestling.
Nick and I, big wrestling fans, for those who don't know.
Next Saturday, Joe, you're going to be up really early for Elimination Chamber.
I don't know about that.
I'm not going to watch live. Hard to get me up at 5 a.m. unless you're my screaming, crying son.
I don't have a son to worry about, but I do have a team that needs me, and a lot of the time we don't go to sleep until 5 a.m. It's the only time we can play some 2K basketball.
Oh, you have a team, huh?
Well,
online team?
I use the word team very loosely. It's basically our broadcast crew here at PDF.
So how does the team work? How many can play on a team?
5.
So you can play one person per
Each
per
position,
player.
yes.
Okay.
I'm the point guard.
And then you play other people.
Yes.
Interesting.
Let's put it this way. Through the lens of swimming, we would make a very poor relay team.
Yeah, knowing the rest of your teammates, I can imagine there's a lot of screaming going on in the headsets.
All of us are well past their athletic prime. I would say I probably scream the second most. But I'm not much of a screamer. I'm more of a very forceful, assertive, raise my voice kind of guy. There's not much screaming.
More of like questioning, what are you doing?
Exactly. Women's 200-yard individual medley A final. Off the starting blocks, no distinct leader yet, though it looks like first to the wall may have been Juliana Karaka. very close. Our Golden Falcons teammate, Kristen Fabo Mbite, swimming out of lane 6. Appears to be headed for the pad first. And so close, dead even, out of lanes 4 and 6. Both swimmers touching with a split time of 28.6. Second leg of this medley, the backstroke. And first to the wall, I believe, was Rachel Hand, swimming out of lane 5.
Very close to the wall there, but right now, Rachel Hand getting the upper hand right now.
And Nick, it looks like we're set for a close finish.
It's about time.
Would be our first of the evening. And it's not as if one swimmer is winning over the rest of the field by a considerable margin. It's just been 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all the way down through 8.
Well, we got a big shout out from Luca Meyer, who is the biggest fan of Steffi Schneider. And he says, go Steffi Schneider, go.
Schneider in lane 7. Heading for the wall now is Schneider. 1, 2, and 3. Currently swimming out of lanes 4, 5, and 3 in that order. We're about set to enter the final 50. Karaka first to the wall following the breaststroke. Final 50 freestyle. Lanes 3 and 5 going stroke for stroke. Karaka's lead only growing, and she appears poised for a first place finish. Gaining ground out of lane 5 is Rachel Hand over Kiana Guarino in lane 3. See if Guarino can make up about a stroke or two in the final 12 and a half yards or so. It's getting closer, but not close enough. As Karaka takes first, Hand will take second, and Guarino will take third.
Another one for Felician.
Fabo Mbite takes fourth. Schneider fifth, barely edging out Rosler for sixth. Maceda seventh, and McDonald eighth.
That's going to bring us over to the men's Heat C. Only 2 competitors here. Huston University's Ben Carusi in lane 4. And from Roberts Wesleyan University, it's Will Whaley. The Metro Champs record in this is Ivan Kapid, set in 2016. And that was 1 minute, 48 seconds, 28. That is a tremendous, tremendous time. And I do not envision that being broken.
A lot of these records before our time. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, you and I introduced to the Mets Swimming and Diving Conference in 2022. Taking a quick look through the rest of tonight's program, it doesn't appear that there have been any other records set in the years we covered this meet. Carusi, Whaley go head-to-head. Swimming out of lanes 4 and 5, and has to be a bit easier to swim a 200 versus a 500 against one other swimmer.
Yeah, less time, so easier to concentrate, easier to focus.
When it's a 2-swimmer field, what strokes of the strong suit of each swimmer become more and more apparent as we really laser in with our focus on those 2 lanes. Following the 200-yard IM, I almost did it, Nick, 50 free, followed by the 400 medley relay.
Yeah, after the 50 freestyles, we'll have a 20-minute break to set the stage for the main event.
It's a shame that I'm going to miss the 400 free relay this year. You and Dave will have to ask the stream if they're ready for some relays with a bit of pizzazz, for lack of a better word.
We'll see if Dave's able to chime in on the fun.
Now, I went back, as I mentioned, and watched last year's stream, and we were supposed to say it together. Are you ready for some relays? You jumped the gun and did it solo.
All right, we'll get it together for next year.
Nick and I both happy to be back. Once again, this is Joe Foreman alongside Nick Durst. 2 of us will be with you the rest of tonight and tomorrow night. And Nick is joined by Dave Pizzuto on Sunday for the final session. I might pop in. We'll see. We'll see what time I get home. Might not be soon enough, but we'll see.
It's popping on Sunday, coming straight from MetLife Stadium. All going to come down to the parking situation, how quickly you get out of there, and also who's going to be in your car.
You know what? I certainly will come on Sunday night, and perhaps I'll throw on a headset. But
Might as well.
I have to get my equipment back. We need it for Wednesday. It could be dropped off earlier in the week, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, you and Dave do work at the same establishment.
Yes, we do. All three of us now. As Ben Carusi takes the C final in the men's 200 IM.
Close race.
Whaley about 2 seconds off of Carusi's pace. B final coming up next, and all 8 lanes occupied.
All right, here we go for a B final. Swimming out of lane 1 from Roberts Wesleyan, it is Teddy Herman. Lane 2 from Baruch, it is Eric Goldstein. Lane 3 from Maine Maritime Academy, and lane 4 from Maine Maritime Academy, both from the same school. Lane 3, Ryan Mayer. Lane 4, Lincoln Graff. Lane 6 from Roberts Wesleyan is Tommy Booth. Lane 6 from Mount St. Mary College is Michael D'Ambrosio. Lane 7 from Maine Maritime Academy is Brendan Dion. And in lane 8 from SUNY Maritime College, it is Parker Endress.
First to the touchpad through the first 50 was Tommy Booth, swimming out of lane 5. Ryan Mayer right behind him by just over half a second. Through that first 50, no other swimmer was really that close after that. The rest of the field about a second behind. And that has very quickly changed as the backstroke has seen Lincoln Graff growing his lead to about a body length. He was not one of the first 2 swimmers to the wall through the first 50. He is first to the wall, or I should say the touchpad now, by a wide margin. Also gaining out of lane 7 was Brendan Dion. He's in the mix for second. And right now it's a 3-way race for second, as Lincoln Graff is the leader. Tommy Booth has asserted himself in second place as he touches the wall and makes his turn, looking to gain on Graff, who is in first, and a great underwater does just that.
Yeah, Tommy Booth doing a great job here. He's going to come close to catching Lincoln Graff here at the touchpad. Just going to be a fingerprint off there. Graff there, 38.03 split. Tommy Booth, 35.05 split.
We may have a close finish here, though it looks like Graff is gaining on Booth here in the freestyle. Booth very strong in the breaststroke, but that underwater during the previous 50 was a huge key for him in gaining on Graff. Unfortunately, that won't be enough for him, as Lincoln Graff will run away with first. Booth is going to take second, Goldstein third. And it looks like fourth will belong to Brendan Dion, swimming out of lane 7. Fifth belongs to Goldstein in lane 2. I may have misspoke and said Goldstein instead of Mayer. Nonetheless, Mayer third, Dion fourth, Goldstein fifth, D'Ambrosio sixth, Herman seventh, Endress eighth.
All right, moving on now, Joe, to the A final here. As the competitors make their way towards the pool with an ominous musical tone in the background.
Very ominous. Very ominous.
So in lane 1 from Baruch College, it is Michael Guzman. In lane 2 from Hudson University, Brady Hand. In lane 3 from SUNY Maritime College, it is Rowan Hayes. In lane 4 from Baruch College, it is Youssef Alkawe. In lane 5, also from Baruch College, it is Ramil Fangersh. In lane 6 from Lehman College, Ronald Sanchez. In lane 7 from Maine Maritime Academy, Ponce Stolciak. And joining him in lane 8, his teammate, Aiden Walls.
All right, so public address right now. giving the spectators some additional information on our swimmers from the student-athlete bioforms that are submitted ahead of the meet. But we mentioned it before, taking a quick look at the times relative to the record. We said it before, we'll say it again. The record appears safe. The second thing I typically look at is how closely assembled was this field during the prelims. And the top 3 swimmers were about 2 seconds apart. The top 5 swimmers about 5.5, 6 seconds apart. And then after that, the times get a bit further spread out. So
Alcala, Hayes, and Fangersh all sub 2 minutes in the prelims.
Now, Fangersh, not a very common last name. We have a David Fangersh, the College of Staten Island. Perhaps a relation, perhaps. Though I do have access to the student-athlete bioforms. And the student-athletes do often list their siblings. That is one of the fields, so perhaps
Well, I do
can
know
find
this,
that
that Brady Hand in this race is related to Rachel Hand, who raced in the Heat 3 for the women's 200-yard individual medley, both from Hudson University. I'm going to assume they're siblings. I could be wrong.
And we are underway. A final. Men's 200-yard individual medley. Butterfly opens things up. Looks like Youssef El-Kouli was first to the wall, and I certainly recognize his name from last year. Unsurprising considering he posted the top seed time. He is also first to the touchpad through the first 50 as we enter the backstroke. El-Kouli maintains his lead, but right now second place can belong to absolutely anybody. Fangersh and Sanchez both to the wall simultaneously. Brady Hand in lane 2 in contention for second as well now as he begins to close in on Sanchez in lane 6. So close at the touchpad in terms of the race for second, but you can see it. El-Kouli with a lead of about 2 or 3 body lengths here.
Yeah, Rowan Hayes falling a little behind here on the brushstroke as Brady Hand has caught up to him and Fangersh as well.
Fangersh right now in sole possession of second, but he is being pushed out of lane 3 by Hayes. Final 50 for El-Kouli. Now Fangersh and now Hayes. El-Kouli safely in first place. It looks like he will take the win in the A final of the men's 200 IM. Fangersh beginning to pull away. Is third place for Hayes in jeopardy? Final 25 here. Hand not too far behind. Fangersh is going to take second. El-Kouli easily takes first. And it looks like Hayes is going to hold on for third. And he does, narrowly. 0.2 of a second over Brady Hand, followed by Ronald Sanchez, Aiden Walls, Ponce, Saltisiak in 7th, and Michael Guzman in 8th.
The next event is men's 7, the women's 53.
Next up, the 53.
Which means last names only, Nick.
Last names only. I better spit them out as quickly as possible. So, Heat 1 here for the 50-yard freestyle. Looks like I can get the first names in as the men are still in the pool. So, I will go ahead and do just that. So, in lane 1 from Baruch College, Gervin Dalu. Lane 2, also from Baruch College, Julie Huang. Lane 3 from Sarah Lawrence College, Hannah Drum. Lane 4 from SUNY Maritime College, Lauren Barateau. Lane 6 from Hunter Colleges, Katerina Titarenko. Lane 6 from Mount St. Mary College is Emily Gursky. Lane 7 from Felician University is Isabel Bertozzi. And lane 8 from Hudson University, Mackenzie Gray. And they're off.
All right, we got the first names in. You're going to be put to the test out of the next heat. Lanes 3, 4, 5, 6, all to the wall at just about the same time. It looks like Gursky has a narrow lead in lane 6. And closing in lane 3, Hannah Drum. It's going to be close at the wall. And taking first was Gursky. Baratow nearly, and I should say was able to overtake Hannah Drum. At the final moments there, Baratow overtook Drum for second, which means Drum takes third, Titarenko fourth, Wang fifth, Bertozzi sixth, Dalu seventh, Gray eighth. Nick, let's get the participants in the B final.
Keep in mind the record for this is 23:02, which is not going to be touched here. I'll give you the names real quick and drop the schools. Lane 1, Ella Hernan. Lane 2, Josie Lohr. Lane 3, Elizaveta Zhukov. Lane 4, Leah Montalvo. Lane 6, Kara Chang. That's lane 5. Lane 6, Brett Van Broden. Lane 7, Isabella Gadus. And lane 8 is MK Farkas.
Your B finalists in lane 8.
All right.
MK Farkas from Gordon College. In lane 7, Isabella Cardoso.
Heading toward the wall, it looks like Leah Montalvo is first to the wall, and off that last turn, she builds a narrow lead, though Chang in lane 5 is pushing her. It looks like Montalvo will hold on. It's a race for second. Montalvo 1, Chang 2, Zhukov 3, Van Boden 4, Hernan 5, Lauer 6, Farkas 7, and Gaduis 8th.
All right, Heat 3, the A Heat now. Lane 1 from Baruch College, Caitlin Chavez. Lanes 2 through 5, all from Felician College. Lane 2, Cleo Kepka. Lane 3, D.D. Higgs. Lane 4, Natalia Amano. Lane 5, Amelia Mayers. Lane 6 from Baruch College is Elise Alexander. Lane 7 from Maine Maritime Academy is Rael Brewer, and Maine Maritime Academy teammate in lane 8, Natasha Kopek.
Swimmers heading to the starting blocks now with the full introductions ahead of the A final. We did have some extra time ahead of this heat. Now, what I did not do was go through the NCAA cuts, so we'll do that. As Nick mentioned, the record likely not in jeopardy. Women's Division II standard in the 50 free. A cut, 22.72. B cut, 23.86. So 23.86, a bit longer than the record, but as Nick mentioned, the record not in jeopardy. And we'll see. It will take a vast improvement for one of these swimmers of about a second.
Yeah, Natalia Amano, the favorite in this one.
So we'll see.
We know that Shane Connell is watching, cheering on Natalia.
No question about it. So we will see. Meanwhile, that's Division II, so that does apply to Felicia. Natalia will be held to that standard. The Division III swimmers for the 50 free, A cut 22.7, B cut 23.57.
She's an NCAA Division II qualifier.
So the B cut and the A cut both for Division III, or I should say just the B cut. The B cut for Division III a bit stricter, the A cut a bit more lax. So that's something to keep in mind.
Amelia Myers. Amelia was a freshman from the island of Barbados. This is her first time at Mets.
All right, we had a bit of a pause in the program there for just a moment.
She was a two-time event finalist at the EAC Winter Championship.
Now, if those bio sheets are handwritten, I do not envy the PA announcer.
They should get the broadcasters those bio sheets.
Now, in addition to bringing audio into our diving stream, both days of the finals, not sure about the prelims yet. We will certainly have audio for the diving finals. That being said, my point was going to be that during the senior walk, we are going to have our audio feed come straight from the public address desk. And we'll see how that works out.
Is it going to reach? Last year we tried it. What did it reach?
Different system. System. So we're going to try that. If the audio is not to the same standard as the ambient noise picked up by our headsets, we'll then switch over the audio to our headsets. So, A final, women's 50-yard freestyle. And off the starting blocks, the swimmers stroke for stroke. No surprise there through the first 25.
The girls are flying right now out the gate.
Amano first to the wall, gains an advantage off the turn. Felician in lanes 3, 4, and 5 appear poised to take 1, 2, and 3, and that will indeed be the case. Amano, Mayers, Higgs, Brewer, and it looked like we have a tie. We do have a tie.
The next event is event 8.
Alexander and Brewer tied for 4th. I was looking for a 5 up the scoreboard, and there was none because 2 swimmers finished at 25.63, which means we go straight to 6th. That was Cleo Kepka in 7th, Caitlin Chavez, and in 8th, Natasha Kopek.
All right, short on time here, it looks like, for the names in the next heat. So, going to drop the schools. Zach Barneson in lane 1, Valentine Titarenko in lane 2, John Spencer lane 3, Daniel Yadgorov in lane 4, John Gilpin lane 5, Major Adir in lane 6, Kyle Smith lane 7, and Nikolai Kriluko in lane 8.
Your C finals in lane 8.
C final men's 50-yard freestyle, and it appears certain that we are going to have a break ahead of the medley relay. That's typical. With a lot of swimmers in the 50 free, you have a break ahead of the relay event, our final event of the night. Heading for the touchpad, it looks like in lane 5, John Gilpin was in front, and he is edged out by 5/100ths of a second in lane 3 and 2/100ths of a second in lane 4. 1, Spencer. 2, Yadgorov. 3, Gilpin. 4, Titarenko. 5, Adair. In 6th, Berenson. 7th, Smith. And in 8th, Kryliuk. That
Nikolai
likely was not pronounced correctly. It might be Kryliuk. Kryliuk.
Sounds good. All right,
that sounds better.
Heat 2, lane 1, Roger Sanchez. Lane 2, Adam Byrne. Lane 3, Griffin Erb. Lane 4, John Driscoll. Lane 5, Fox Fernald. What a name. Great name, swimming name there. Lane 6, Andon Fedor. Lane 7, Jackson Lerner. And in lane 8, Sam Gillette, the mess the bank could get.
I probably could use a shave. It's a bit hot in this building.
It is steamy in here, especially if you've been in here since 8 o'clock in the morning.
Which
Do they have to open the building up just for you, or are those swimmers here already?
Nobody is allowed in the building until 8:15 a.m. I was in the parking lot right at about that time. I probably got in the building at about 8:30.
Nice 30-minute nap in the car. Equipment transfer.
We await the start of this B finals. The officials right now are conversing on the far side of the pool next to the starting block, so that's the delay right now. Once again, this is the B final, men's 50 free, A final up next. We then have a break. It appears that break is going to be about 20 minutes. Based on our program, we'll see if that holds true. That sets us up for our 400-yard medley relay finals at about 7:40. We'll get an official word on how long the break is going to be following the A final in the men's 50 free, but our B finalists right now standing around the starting blocks waiting to get started.
Wonder what the holdup is here.
The officials writing something down alongside the statistician and public address desk, so I'll take a seat. I haven't sat down since we got started. The issue is that when I sit down, I can't see the pool.
Well, I have to sit out every time, every between events, because I have a really bad back. Went to the chiropractor today. Very painful.
Low back problems, not fun. And fortunately, I've never injured myself lifting long term, but when I've tweaked something, it is brutal. But we're too young for that, Nick. We're still in our early 30s.
Well, once you hit 30, it's all downhill for your body.
Can we have a coach from Roberts Wesleyan to the timers table?
Uh-oh.
All right. They are requesting some assistance at the timers table from a coach of Roberts Wesleyan.
Well, so could that be for something dating back to the first heat there with John Spencer Or are we looking at something here with Andon Fedor or Sam Gillette here for the B heat?
Lane 8 is disqualified.
Oh, Sam Gillette disqualified. Not sure why.
All right. Well, that
He's
means
not
it's
happy,
time to
though.
stand up.
He's not happy. Can you blame him? That's the problem. You don't get any explanation.
Well, we certainly don't get any clarity.
Want to know why he could be DQ'd before even racing, unless there was an issue with his time?
Not sure. Not sure. Now, in this event, there are alternates, but the alternates obviously don't replace participant in the A final. So just 7 competitors now in the 50-yard freestyle A final, and we're underway.
Your B finalists in lane 7 from Mount St. Mary College, Jackson Lerner. In lane 6 from Robert
Off the starting blocks, it looks like Adam Byrne with a narrow lead in lane 2. He is indeed first to the wall. Off the turn, it is anybody's race, but it appears that Andon Fedor is the leader in lane 6. That lead is gone. John Driscoll heading for the touchpad, and Driscoll takes the win. Griffin Erb 2, Roger Sanchez 3, Fedor in 4th, Byrne falls to 5th, Fernald 6th, and Lerner 7th. And Nick, I do believe that's going to send us to a 20-minute break. We'll wait for the official announcement. But we are certainly headed for a break.
So we're going to be taking the break here before the A heat? I don't think so, Joe. One more heat to go, then the break.
That was the B final. I got a bit ahead of myself.
Joe's ready for some gluten-free pizza.
We had a delay before the start of that heat.
I'm with you there. All right, so lane 1 from Lehman, Brandon Coombs. Lane 2 from Gordon, James Renaud. Lane 3 from Hudson University, Ryan Emerson. Lane 4 from Baruch, it is Bennett Maxka. Lane 5 from the Maine Merchant Academy, it's Carson Trout. Peter Gavroff from Baruch in lane 6. Braden Champlin from Hudson in lane 7. And Sam Pieser from Hudson University in lane 8. The record is from Ben Michelson. He holds a lot of records for this meet, but all the way back 21 years ago, Joe, 2003, 1940, just a ridiculous time.
1940, good for a Division III A cut in this event. Division III level, 1949 A cut, B cut 24-3.
So Ben Michelson, he holds a lot of records. Joe, he went to SCSU. What do you think that school was?
Well, I'm guessing Southern. I'm not sure. State University. I did try and
Southern
look it up.
College, State University.
I did try and look it up before the meet, but just typing in SCSU, you get a lot of results.
Let's see if I can find
Such as Southern Connecticut State University.
Could be that.
Could be that. Could be that. You'd have to go back, and a lot of sidearm websites don't have roster data back to 2003. Did you find it?
Joe, Ben Michelson, who is 42 years old, Southern Connecticut State University. I searched him.
When you're not sure, I don't like to throw out information as definitive, but Southern Connecticut State was my guess.
Let's see what Ben's up to these days.
That'll have to wait just a few moments. Men's 50-yard freestyle A final. Good thing we didn't take a break. Headed for the wall. Bennett Maxka. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Bennett appears headed for a win in the A final. It looks like Trout is right behind him. He is, as it is Trout 2nd, Gavroff 3rd, Emerson 4th, Renaud 5th, Champlin 6th, Coombs 7th, and Pizer 8th.
Now you can send us to break, Joe, once they give us the exact time.
I will send us to break once we know how long. We will step aside.
Just to foreshadow here, the future here, we have 2 heats for the women in the 400-yard medley relay and only 1 heat for the men's. So when we come back, looking at probably another 20 minutes or so of action to close out night 1.
We have that to look forward to following this break. We are just awaiting word from public address on how long the break will be.
And we have to stay put, make sure there's no DQs.
We'll now take a 20-minute break. We'll resume.
All right, I guessed it right. 20-minute break. Meet resumes at 7:42. The pool is open to the swimmers. As for Nick and I, we will step aside. The conclusion of our night 1 coverage of the 2024 Met Swimming and Diving Championship on the PDF Sports Network coming up after a 20-minute break. And we're back here on the PDF Sports Network for the women's 400-yard medley relay B final. 3 lanes occupied.
Lane 3 is Gordon College. Lane 2 is Maine Maritime Academy. Excuse me, Lane 3 is Maine Maritime Academy. And Lane 5 is Sarah Lawrence College. In the pool right now, Lily Brooks for Gordon. Elizaveta Zukov for Maine Maritime Academy, and Ella Hernan for Sarah Lawrence College.
We are on to the backstroke. Second leg in this medley.
So this up there is different than our sheets. So the board in here says Sarah Lawrence College, lane 3, and Felician is in lane 4, and Hunter College in lane 5. This is looks like it's a heat 1, but we don't have that in our program. We just had a heat 2. So it looks like there's going to be 3 heats.
So perhaps I was mistaken when I said that they held this heat earlier in the day. It does say heat 1 on the board, Nick, you're right. So it looks like we are going to have 3 heats after all.
But we don't know. I mean, these are going to be 2 Sarah Lawrence College teams. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see on the board for Heat 2, because we had Sarah Lawrence College in Heat 2, and they're in Heat 1. So we don't know who's in the pool. I don't even begin to speculate. But right now, there's 3 teams in the pool.
I will say it's a major asset this year to have names on the meet sheet, full names. Last year,
that was a special request by me. I went down there, and they're like, "Is this okay?" I was like, the first names are always cut off. They're like, I was like, "But it's doable." Like, no, we could try to up the size, and we'll see. So we'll see who's working to the next 2 days. But it's been great to have full first names. Usually we're guessing first names.
It's always that we are guessing first names, unless they're up on the board. However, for the relays, there were no names last year.
No names.
So this helps.
And now the board has changed, Joe. So I don't know, is it the pool at all?
Okay, so the board now reflects the correct swimmers. They had the earlier final, the C final, up on the board. So the heat we had earlier in the day was on the board. They just changed it.
So we are in Heat 2 now.
Yes.
So Gordon Gordon is in lane 3, like I said before. Maine Maritime Academy lane 4. Sarah Lawrence College in lane 5.
All right.
This should be about a 4.5-minute race. So about another minute and 35 seconds left in this one.
1 swimmer left per program.
So Genevieve Chiappetta in the pool for Sarah Lawrence College. Rael Brewer for Maine Maritime Academy, and M.K. Farkas for Gordon College.
Entering the pool for the last leg of this relay, it was Gordon 1, Maine 2, Sarah Lawrence 3, but Maine has jumped out to a lead, and that lead is only growing. Perhaps Sarah Lawrence can close in on second place here. Final 50. Maine Maritime still in the lead. The Mariners appear poised to take first. It's a race for second. Can Gordon hold on? Gordon College, the Fighting Scots. Sarah Lawrence, the Griffins. But it is the Mariners of Maine Maritime Academy taking first. Gordon College hangs on for second. Sarah Lawrence third.
Job well done in that heat.
Now it's time for the A final. Just 2 heats this evening.
A final. Cue the music here. Lanes 1 through 7. And they're playing some Taylor Swift in the building. So lane 1, Roberts Wesleyan. Lane 2, Mount St. Mary College. Lane 3, Hunter College. Lane 4, Felician University. Lane 5, Baruch College. Lane 6, Brooklyn College. Lane 7, Husson University.
Now, just to clarify, over public address, ahead of our break, we did hear Husson University pronounced Houston. I did look it up online before we arrived, as this was my first exposure to Husson, and they did just pronounce it correctly over PA.
No fussing with Husson. Husson University is the way it's going to be.
Do you have these written down somewhere?
They just come to me, Joe.
The collective wit on this broadcast, up there with the best of them. All right, so Roberts Wesleyan, lane 1, Mount St. Mary, lane 2.
Hunter, 3:59.52 prelim time. The only team is sub 4 minutes.
Hunter, lane 3. Felician, lane 4. Baruch, lane 5. Brooklyn, lane 6. And Husson, lane 7.
By the way, I looked up Ben Michelson to see what he was up to, and he retired after he was actually in the U.S. Olympic trials. He narrowly missed the cut for the Olympics. Who did he lose to? Michael Phelps.
No shame in that. No shame in that. First to the touchpad, Felician. Very close in the race for second between Hunter, Husson, and Baruch.
Felician, 28.89.
It's been a strong showing for the Golden Falcons here on the first night.
Poised to take away the victory this Sunday. They are currently in first. We did get the standings earlier in the break.
I believe it was Maine Maritime in second. Felician maintains a sizable lead. 3 teams to the wall at the same time in lanes 3, 5, and 7. Hunter, Baruch, Husson still stroke for stroke.
Felician, 31.52. Strong lead for them by about 6 seconds.
You said it, Nick. Felician setting the pace by about 5 or 6 seconds. And right now, there is no team gaining on them. The closest team is Baruch, swimming out of lane 5. And that's how the seed times indicated this race would shake out. The second place advantage for Baruch only growing. Husson and Hunter remaining stroke for stroke. Just beyond the midway point, as now 4 teams, make it 5, have sent their third swimmer into the pool. As always, you can expect things to speed up a bit as we approach the final leg.
Felician looking like they'll coast to victory here.
Felician with a really nice lead. That lead has certainly not gotten any smaller. If anything, it has grown. Final swimmer getting set to enter for the Golden Falcons. It's Mayers into the pool for Felician. Followed by Aaron Forrest. Well, actually, Baruch does not have their swimmers listed.
It's a mystery.
Brooklyn represented by Aaron Forrest. So I was looking underneath Baruch, and there were no names there. I went straight down to the team below them. So the Bearcats swimmer's not listed on our meet program, but nonetheless, they are chasing Felician for the top spot. Unfortunately for the Bearcats, that chase appears as if it's going to come up short. Meanwhile, Husson has taken the advantage in the race for third. Felician to the touch pad with a time of 4:03.19. They take first. Baruch will take second, and it looks like Husson will take third. And they do. Hunter 4, Mount St. Mary 5. It looks like it will be Brooklyn 6, followed by Roberts Wesleyan in 7.
That's going to bring us now to our last event of the evening. And that's going to be the men's 400-yard medley relay. 7 teams competing in this one. Out of lane 1, it is Brooklyn College. Lane 2, Roberts Wesleyan University. Lane 3 is Husson University. Lane 4 is Baruch College. Lane 5 is Lehman College. Lane 6 is Maine Maritime Academy, and lane 7 is SUNY Maritime College.
Those the participants in our final event on night 1 of this 2024 Mets Swimming and Diving Championship. Men's 400-yard medley relay coming up next. Now, I hate to do it, but when the music plays, I have to try and talk a bit louder over the music. Copyright strikes make for very difficult post-editing on the broadcast, so.
Well, we'll tell you this, the Metro Champs record set by University of Bridgeport 10 years ago. 3 minutes, 15 seconds, 35. So that, not likely to be touched here, as the best seed time is the Bearcats at 3:29.64.
Bearcats with a sizable advantage.
Bearcats, we do not have their swimmers listed for this event again.
I think they just went back to Houston University on public address.
Husson, Houston, Husson. Husson, we have a problem.
Too good at this, too good at this. I can't keep up.
You just got to keep up with the action of the ball.
That's what I'm here for.
I'm here to fill the Pat McAfee role.
So you're saying I'm the voice of the Mets?
I'm saying you're Michael Cole.
The voice of the WWE, which makes me the voice of the Mets.
Yes.
All right, I'll take it.
Nikolai Krylyuk in lane 1 was still pronouncing that wrong. Avery Fedor.
I would say Krylyuk.
Krylyuk in lane 1. Avery Fedor lane 2. Alex Walsh saw him before. Good showing in lane 3. Bearcats, we don't know, in lane 4. Ronald Sanchez lane 5. John Markilli, he won before. He's in lane 6. And Liam McManus in lane 7.
Well, as I mentioned before, Baruch based on seed time with a sizable advantage of about 15 seconds. Anything other than a Bearcats victory here would be an upset based on the seeding times. Lehman keeping it close through the first 100. Bearcats get to the touchpad about 0.3 of a second ahead of the Lightning. And the Baruch lead growing quickly.
Let's see what Baruch's touch time is here. Touch time in the relay medleys here. Don't mean as much as a regular race, but 25.89. Obviously with the strokes changing. Huston 28.99 there. Quickest time was also Robert Wesley in 26.38. They're all behind.
The race for second got tight very quickly, and right now with the advantage is MMA. As the Mariners now heading for the touchpad. And I tend to do this a lot, but it's much easier to go with the abbreviations. Nobody says College of Staten Island. They all say CSI.
MMA, mixed martial arts.
But whenever I call the action and it's not CSI, I always say the full name.
Let's try it. Bar, who, RWU,
well, that won't
BC, LEM,
RWU works.
NYMC.
RWU works.
NYMC.
That doesn't really work given the name of the school, but
it's a question mark.
It'll pass. That'll pass.
RW, I like that. Bar.
That does not work.
BC.
Baruch College, though, is also BC, so that doesn't work either.
That's why it says Bearcats in our program, because it's two BCs.
Makes sense. Final 100 begins for the Bearcats. Their lead, very large. Their lead is over 25 yards. That is a massive lead.
Coming down the stretch to win it.
It's going to be a tight race for second. Looks like right now, MMA in the lead.
3 minutes, 2 seconds, 66 for Baruch.
Race for third being fought out of lanes 2 and 3. It looks like the Mariners should hold on and take second. Baruch easily takes first. 3:26.53 for the Bearcats. Second belongs to the main
14-second victory there by Baruch over MMA.
Maine Maritime Academy second. Roberts Wesley in third. Huston will take fourth. Lehman fifth. We await sixth place finisher here. Looks like that is going to be SUNY Maritime out of lane 7, which leaves Brooklyn College in 7th. And Nick, it's going to do it for night 1 here at the Mets Championship.
That's a wrap. Everybody get your towels, dry off, and go get some rest back here in the pool tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to have to dry off, but that's because of how hot it is here in the building. We are not in bathing suits.
No cameras in the booth here, but Joe is bundled up with his sweatshirt on.
It was cold outside this morning. I left the house at about 7:30.
I brought my coat and I took it off. I got the short sleeves on.
My coat's on the floor. Definitely don't need it in here. But once again, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nick Durst on the call for the PDF Sports Network. Our coverage begins tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with swimming prelims. Day 2, swimming prelims. The stream gets started probably at about 9:30, but we will go live with swimming at 10 a.m. When you tune into the stream, there will not be audio until our prelims program gets underway. So if you don't have sound on the stream tomorrow, don't worry. The sound will begin to come through once our swimming prelims begin. As for diving prelims scheduled for tomorrow morning at 10:30. We will bring audio over to the diving area and give the announcer of those dives, our microphone, that audio will be sent directly into our mixer and into our diving stream. So diving tomorrow at 10:30 with audio from the desk where the announcements of each dive will come from. Whether or not there are announcements during the prelims, we'll see. I would think so. In that case, there will be audio on the live stream. But once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in to this night one of the 2024 Mets Swimming and Diving Championship. This is PDF Sports Network exclusive coverage of this year's meet. We'll be with you all weekend. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning for the prelims at 10 and join us tomorrow night for Day 2 finals at 5:30.